range of cultural, spiritual and political diversity. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples is particularly problematic as it was created by a set of political individuals, predominantly white Europeans, to apply to a vast number of indigenous groups who may or may not have the same understanding or beliefs as to universal rights. During the creation of the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, there were questions as to its validity. It is currently debatable to question, was the Declaration designed in the idea of Indigenous people, compared to being created by Indigenous populations? The difference came between what Indigenous people expected. They wanted to have a say in the Declaration, bringing in their perspectives on what they want. For example, the drafts not addressing self-determination. Even if the intention of the Declaration was genuine, there are fundamental issues with making one rule for all, as Morris discusses in his article specifically comparing Western and Asian views on rights and responsibilities. Morris claims that the Western view is entirely different and discrete compared to, for instance, Asian values. He mentions in his article that the Declaration of Human Rights does not exactly accommodate for all races and does not put into consideration everyone's values, regardless of their culture or race. It is important to place the Declaration in context. Before the creation of the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the Universal Declaration was constructed in 1948, following World War II, due to the atrocities that we recognised as a whole movement. At this current point in history, human rights have become part of our political vocabulary. Human rights have become known as something we should all expect to have. However, as Burke noticed in his work, by the 5th anniversary of the Declaration, the Human Rights Day celebrations revealed exciting enthusiasm for human rights activity amongst the Western powers. Therefore, it could be argued that any declaration is a good one if it keeps that idea of human rights ongoing, and this is merely a first step. That the United Nations attempt to secure the rights of Indigenous peoples must be considered better than no attempt at all. A piece of paper will not define and be able to accommodate the variety of beliefs and cultures of the multitude of Indigenous peoples. It is easy to set universal rights, but it needs to be on the idea of individuality and equality between cultures. Furthermore, when one group of people makes a declaration for another group or groups, there is always going to be the, perhaps unintended, hegemony of the controlling group or people.